Yes, now we are opening our lesson 2. From lesson 1, we go to lesson 2 in web development in Django. Here we are writing our first view. We want to display a simple web page. So note that we will be using Visual Studio Code from now onwards. So you will be required to open your project with Visual Studio Code, that is Visual Code. Then the first step we are going to start is by testing that if Django was successfully installed in our previous lesson 1. We installed Django, we want to test that one, and that is done by running server, where you type on a new terminal, you type python manage.py run server, and then open the address as shown. So you'll open the project with Visual Studio Code, right click, open with code. That means you must have installed Visual Studio Code in your computer. Now the project opens like this. You'll see just where we left in lesson 1. This is the project. So after opening the project, we said that we start by testing if Django was installed successfully. So we'll open a new terminal and type python manage.py run server to run server, so that your web page can load locally. So you go to terminal, new terminal. The terminal is going to be opened at the bottom, and then you wait for it to load. There's some yes, that one has loaded there. Now this is where you type python in small letters, python manage.py run server, and then you click enter and you wait for the python to run the server. So as when you wait for the python to run the server, it's going to generate a particular address that you are going to use to get your website. The address is that the starting development server at http, that one. So you are going to copy this one by Ctrl+C. You copy the address, the 127.0.0.1.8000, and then you paste it in a browser to open it. In some other cases, you might find a link directly from the address where you just click open. That one has not shown in our project for now. So you just copy the address, highlight it, and then Ctrl+C to copy. Go to Chrome or any browser of your choice, paste it at the address bar. Then you click enter. It's going to, yes, boom. It's going to open like that. This now shows that Django has been installed successfully. The install worked successfully. Congratulations. That means you installed Django successfully. If you don't get that one, you have to repeat lesson 1. That means there is a place that you went wrong. So that's done. That's how you test if Django was installed successfully. Remember, you are supposed to use Ctrl plus V to paste. So if you Ctrl C to copy, you will Ctrl V to paste on your browser. We Ctrl V to copy, then we did not elaborate. So here you are supposed to Ctrl V to paste. That is how you you copy and paste. Ctrl C copy, Ctrl V for paste. So that's done. Now let's start our project for this lesson 2. So we'll go to settings.py on our project, my site, and then we locate something called installed apps. You have in my project there, settings.py. This is where we are supposed to start. Locate the installed apps, then add your web app. This is where you find the installed apps. So you have some installed apps which are already there. You will add your new app that we created. We created a new web app that we called main. So you're supposed to add it there, and then you save the changes. You must do this for all apps that you create in the future. So just add it just the way the other apps have been added there. You'll click at the end there and then enter. Use the quotation mark, single quote mark. Then you type the name of the app in just the way it is written there, is more in small letters. Don't make any mistake. Then you don't forget to put a comma, because you'll add other apps later. So make it ready to wait for other apps by adding a comma. Now you open your project my site. On your project my site, we'll open URLs. This is another configuration they're supposed to do. Open urls.py and include. You are supposed to include URLs from your apps. The following code is supposed to be added there. Following URL pattern for connecting your app. So you'll add all that in urls.py. You have a hint there written there in comments, and also you have something there. You have the code there, so you just add the include in your path. And then on URL patterns, you will also add a path that is supposed to locate your app. It's supposed to show that this is the main app. So you're not going to, if you look at the first code that is written there, the first path is showing and the mean slash. So main app, we are not going to add that slash. Just leave a blank quote, then you include main.urls. Then you will see that under main there are no URLs. So we will be required to create a file which we call urls.py in the main app. The main, our app does not contain the urls.py. urls.py that we have is contained in the project my site. So in our app, we will be required to create URLs. So make sure you save changes by Ctrl+S. Don't forget that. So we're going now to create a new folder in your app. Create a new folder in your app main and call it templates as shown. This folder will contain all HTML files or templates in your project. So templates are HTML files that we call templates. So we'll learn before we come back to creating urls.py, we'll start by adding a new folder. So you right click on the main, then you go to new folder, then you call it templates. So everything that requires to be content in HTML files is supposed to be saved in that folder. So inside the templates folder, create a new HTML file and call it home.html. This is a home page. Now we are starting a project and we should be having a home page. You right click on the folder, then you create home.html. Don't forget to write the .html file extension so that it opens in HTML format. Now you write some HTML code. To be short, you just type exclamation mark, then you click the tab, and then you will see some code generated there like that. This is a simple HTML document, HTML page, supposed to contain doc type HTML. It's supposed to have head, opened and closed, and body, and then you also close HTML at the bottom. So when you load here, it's supposed to show, but there's something that you have not done already. So at this point it will not show. So let's complete. Let's just create something at the body so that when we come to load it, it's supposed to show something else apart from the Django website that we loaded previously. So you can create a h1. H1 is heading 1. heading 1, call it hello world, then you save it. Do not forget to save every change that you make, because if you forget to save a change, it might fail to function properly. So make sure you save all changes that you make. Use Ctrl S to make a shortcut to save. Now open views.py in your app main. Open views.py in your main app, main, and write the following code. Now this code is supposed to define and request an HTML page to be rendered. So you have now to render a page. You request for the HTML page to be displayed on your browser. So you define home, request, and return render. You return render into brackets. What are you requesting and what are you returning? After request, you return request HTML. This is the page in that manner. Do not forget to put the quotes and the brackets, because that is the syntax for Python. So you're requesting home.html. We are going to be requesting home.html to be displayed in our browser. So you must write that one. Now that is a view. We are creating our first view. We want to view our home.html, and then you save these changes. Home.html, remember you have just created heading 1 there, which is supposed to be seen when we request for the home.html template. So you also after doing this, you save the changes, then you create a new file in your app as shown and name it urls.py. Now this stage you have to create the urls.py, as I have said. This urls.py is the one that is now going to connect. It's going to enable you to request and then get what you requested. So we have we included in our project URLs from main app. Now the URLs were not there. Now we have already created the app. So this is the URLs. This is the URLs that we included in urls.py of our project. That's my site. These are the URLs that we included there. So we included main.urls, meaning that they are supposed to be included in our main project, so that when you call for them, they're supposed to be visible. Yes, so that is the URLs that we requested there. That we link there. Now this is the file created manual. This file is created manually, unlike other views file, which is automatically created once you create a new web app. So you must create, for every new web app, you must create the urls.py. Now open urls.py file and then type the following code. Import path from Django.urls. You have to import the path that we have in our settings.py there at the URLs. That is our main site, my site, the main project. So import from Django.urls, import path. So the path is the one that contains the URLs that are required to be displayed here. So also from main app, you will also import views. The views.py contains some views where we defined home, when we defined the home and then we requested. So the home that we requested there is the view that we are going to import here. So you have to show the views that are supposed to be imported, or that are supposed to be retrieved from our main app. So we are importing views from our main app, that is our app. You have to import views from all your apps. So in our current project, we already have one app, so we have to import the views. Now the code is supposed to be written in this manner. You write a URL pattern to point at home. Now this one will complete the process, so that when you run the project, when you run the server, already our server is already running, it's going to be coordinating to, when you open the browser, it's going to be able to load the home.html page. So you will save the hassle by copying this code from here, URL pattern, because the syntax is the same. When you copy these URL patterns, you'll just copy it and then you paste it. On the other end there, so that just copy, then you can delete that one. You go to urls.py of the main app and paste there. This is the way you are supposed to write URL patterns. URL patterns equals that. Then now you'll after pasting here, you are supposed to end it. This one, and then this one requires now to be edited in this manner. Delete this, and then you can use this other one. Also delete that part, because you need path, and then the path is supposed to point to views.home. This home is the one that we defined, so make sure the spelling is correct as the way it is written in views.py. The name of the request that you are, or the name of the template is supposed to be indicated there. So when you request that defined home, you request that one, you're supposed to get views.home. Home renders home.html. This syntax must be written in that manner. So make sure you save the changes, and then you run server by typing python manage.py at the terminal, as we did when you are starting. When you do that, go to terminal, then type python manage.py. Ignore that red error that you are seeing there. We'll sort it out later. Python manage.py run server, and then you go to your browser just the way we did when we started. So you have your address there. You have an 18 unapplied migration. This one is going to happen when you are dealing with the database. So this case, now you have a link. You can click link instead of copying and pasting in your browser. Follow the link. It's going to open by default your default browser. So my default browser here at the current situation is Opera browser, and then it launches like that, and then it shows hello world. Now this case is not showing our Django installation folder, the one that we saw here. It's showing hello world. If you load it in Chrome also, it's going to show the same, because it's on the same machine. So hello world is the code that we typed, the HTML template home.html. Remember, we typed it as heading 1, so it has been displayed. This is how you write your first view. Your first view is supposed to be written in that manner. That is how you display a web page, or we call it rendering HTML templates. So if you have a template, the HTML template that is already coded fully, you can display it using that syntax. So this is the end of our lesson. Next lesson will be in lesson 3.